edition of Nigeria is not new. But I mean, it dates back to the 80s where we had MAMSA, we had war against indiscipline. Let's start off from that point. But are we at a point where one will say there's going to be a change?
Thank you. Well, indeed, I mean, you know, the process of societal cooperation, building a society, it's not something as easy as people will take it to be. I think we have made very great commitment to having some form of ethical revolution. You've made reference to war against impunity. You made reference to some attempts to even market the country. You remember Nigeria, the Heart of Africa project under Honorable Frank Nweke Jr. as minister? I mean, the minister took that to several places.
Okay, can you just hold your thoughts a moment? Yeah. We'll go on a quick break and we'll come back to continue this conversation.
Yeah.
To stay with us.
Thank you.
Welcome back. We still have Dr. Ibietan Omoniyi here in the studio. Before we went on that break, we were talking about the great commitments that have been made. But let me reference maybe one or two. I mean, we remember that one, Good People, Great Nation. That was under late Dr. Dora Akunyili. Yeah. But you mentioned Frank Nweke Jr.
At that the Heart of Africa project.
Nigeria, the Heart of Africa project.
I mean, Dora succeeded Frank.
Some will say.
So there are some
will say that at that point, it was like a government-driven effort to market the country. That's where you ended. Efforts to market the country. It was government-driven. But this, I understand, this is more or less private sector-driven.
Yeah. You see, it's going to be very difficult to take government entirely out of this. Remember that this is an initiative of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, which, I mean, you know, is actually superintended by the Honorable Minister of Information and National Orientation.
Yes.
The difference between what we had in the past and this is you have an institution of government taking the initiative as, you know, a constitutive component of its own mandate. Because, I mean, you were at the program today. You heard former governor, former minister Fashola spoke clearly about Section 24B. That speaks to the duty of every citizen to promote the image of the country. So it goes beyond NIPR. You now have NIPR as an institution within the Ministry of Information and National Orientation, you know, doing something within its own mandate. Don't forget that when you talk about NIPR, you are talking about one of the most important institutions in Nigeria.
Oldest.
Indeed, established in 1963 and then chartered in 1990. NIPR was chartered 15 years before the Institute of PR in the UK, although the institute in the UK was established 15 years before NIPR. But we are the first chartered institute of PR on the globe. So NIPR is not joking about what the law has asked it to do, not just to regulate the practice of PR, but to ensure that the image of the country itself, beyond what is enshrined in the Constitution as what? An obligation of every citizen. That, so as an institution, is taking it upon itself because NIPR is conscious of the connection between a country's reputation and its level of prosperity.
But you see, you said something else, and what the former governor and former minister mentioned, quoting section 42, right? Now, the duty or the obligations of the citizens to its country. But the question then will be, what's the duty of the country to its citizen? Is the country also upholding the reputation of its citizens? Because we've already said it, and it's been said globally, the biggest wealth, Nigeria's biggest wealth, is its citizen.
There are challenges, but we are not going to dismiss the fact that government has not acted, with a modicum sense of responsibility. And I will make reference to one or two. I mean, those who speak for government will speak better on this issue. I'll mention something to you. Clearly, the Nigeria Education Loan Fund it's one thing that has driven participation, engagement, inclusion. And in terms of what vision do we have? You listen to the president of NIPR, Dr. Nelly Aku, talked about the fact that to drive Nigeria's reputation, we have to rely on the citizen. And you have this government bringing on board an education loan fund that enable indigent students to be able to access education. That's an investment. So we cannot be completely dismissive of the fact that government has acted responsibly in some space. For the first time in the history of our country, you have Nigeria Credit Corporation, the Credit Corp. It entitles every public servant and whoever is ready to subscribe to it to have access to up to 2 million naira credit, non-interest credit annually, provided you are doing what? You are buying Nigeria-made goods. And that's also something that we should cherish. It means that government recognizes the fact that there are investments involving citizens that needs to be protected. So if you have access to 2 million as a public servant and you are enjoying to spend it on goods that are manufactured in Nigeria, it means government is thinking about getting the industries back on track. So that's why I said, I mean, it will be inappropriate to dismiss the fact that government has acted, with a modicum, of responsibility to citizens. However, there is still a long way to go. But I feel that it's important to ensure that we capture this.
In terms of, yes, as this is an inaugural summit, and I want to believe that this will be like an annual summit. But in terms of momentum and how do you say, a bandwagon effect, how do you see this going? This drive for marketing Nigeria again. How do you see this going?
I'll say this to you. You see, at the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, we are not joking. This doesn't just happen. If you have tracked what we've been doing, in 2021, the NIPR organized Citizen Summit. I hope you remember. Almost a week event where we practically came up with what we consider to be a charter. A reciprocal relationship between what government is expected to do and what citizens are supposed to do. What happened last week with the unveiling of the first Nigeria Reputation Perception Index report and the first Nigeria Reputation Summit today, it's a continuum. These things are accumulated.
But are the citizens buying into all of these things? Is the message getting to the Nigerian on the street? Fantastic.
Now, this is the point that I feel we should begin to discuss. Again, I will take you to that perceptive lecture that was given by ex-Governor Fashola. Remember the first thing he mentioned: ownership. As citizens, we have to take ownership of our country. In a more revolutionary sense, people call it take Nigeria back. You own this country. And you remember he said, people should stop referring to Nigeria when they are angry to say your country. We should correct those who use that. If they are Nigerians, we say our country. Okay? So we have started the process that the citizens are central to. If you ask me, this will go down to even the curriculum in schools. There's a sense in which what we are doing will reflect in the curriculum, so that it is right from primary school. Pupils are made to understand what their obligations are as citizens. Ethics are taught in a manner that build patriotism and loyalty to country right from the beginning. From there, by the time they get to secondary school, ability to be able to have a better interpretation of media and information, what people, within the academia we call media and information literacy, will be also entrenched in the curriculum at that level, which means when people are to talk about their country, there is a way you are supposed to say it. I mean, there's a sense in which you are angry and you express it in a very decent manner.
Right.
And to use Governor Fashola's word, we can criticize politicians, we can criticize policies constructively, but we should avoid the situation in which we will throw the nation under the bus. We should avoid throwing Nigeria under the bus. But the right to criticism, I mean, is fundamental, full expression. And that's also guaranteed in the Constitution.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ibietan Omoniyi, Secretary General of the African Public Relations Association and a fellow of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations. Thank you for coming in this evening.
Thank you.
And we do wish you well
Thank
in
you.
the bid to move Nigeria's reputation forward.
Yeah, I mean,
we do wish us well.
Important. You are very important because you also know that the media is a very central element of any campaign process.
Indeed,
or
we do.
program. Yeah.
Indeed, we do.
So, and it's so good to see you again. And thank you for the good work you are doing at News Central.
Well, thank you so much. We'll try. We're doing our best. Thank you.
Thank you.